Hello and welcome back to Sim Racing Daily, where we are taking the Ferrari F2004 and the Porsche 919 Hybrid around Monza and the Circuit de la Sarthe. I've been thinking about adding another car to this, so tomorrow there may be a GT3 car around a track like Spa. I haven't quite decided entirely yet, but I have been toying with the idea. So let's get started with the F2004 lap here. I am using the same setup that I was using for yesterday's video, which does have a lot of time in it. But coming into the first chicane, I'm locking up the rear tires, or rear brakes rather, and then I'm still behind my Ghost a little bit. So racing the Ghost is interesting because it's just me. And I see where I'm losing consistency, which is really big going into any of the chicanes. I'm losing a lot of time locking up the brakes, just breaking into them. I think I need to figure out how to brake a little easier. But it's through the Lismos here where I really gain the time on my Ghost. So as you can see, it's now in our rear view. So as we come down into this final chicane and turn complex, we heavily ride the curbs, and I almost lost it there. I had lost it there on a previous flying lap that I had been doing. But my Ghost is catching up a little bit here, and then we're braking closer to 75, a quick lockup on the right rear. But as we come down through Parabolica and onto the home straight, we marginally improve. Not terribly, but we did improve over our previous laps. So we've also got the Porsche 919 here, and I had a couple issues with it, but let's take a look at this lap. So as we're heading down the front straight, our Ghost is in front of us again. That's just going to be a thing depending on how well I accelerate out of the final chicanes. And then I also locked up a little bit going into the first chicane, which is consistently a problem for me. So that's something I really need to work on. I need to just find somewhere that I can work with chicanes for a while and improve my consistency through them. So as we're going down, we're still going to ride the curb here just a little bit. Not as much as I can. There's a good margin of error that you can take when going over those curbs. But here's where we start to deploy the hybrid and just completely overtake my Ghost on the straight using that hybrid. I've switched to manual deploying it. I brake into here. I tried to downshift, or was at too high of a rev. But here we get the Ghost in front of us again. And then we're going to keep heading down the back straight into the left-right chicane. But we're about neck and neck with the Ghost at this point, which is really good because that's showing a lot of consistency. But my Ghost is going to get a worse exit out of there. If you remember from yesterday's video, I went really deep into the chicane and didn't quite make it out as well as I would like. But as we're heading down into the right-hand hairpin, we're moving all the way to the left of the track so we can brake it just right over this curb at straight line, pumping the brakes just a little bit around, use all of the track on exit, including that curb, and head down the back straight. Which, this is where the Ghost starts to catch, so we deploy a little more hybrid, but we are at the end of our hybrid. So, we're using this to get as far ahead as possible, and then hoping that we can stay there. So, I think I can remove just a little bit of downforce next time through. I'm also braking later into that. Locked up the rear left, but there's a couple more braking points that I can extend, I think, in here. I don't need to be braking as early as I am on some of them. And then we're going to use the last of our hybrid right here just to get out of that turn ahead of the ghost. So we'll head down. I'm braking much later into here and only dropping to 4th gear. And then actually bumping up to 5th to go through a bunch of this. But I'll come back down to 4th for the end. Because if I'm in 5th, I'm going to ride the curb too much and end up in a wall or with a lap time deleted. So I don't want that to happen. So let's continue heading down into the final 2 chicanes. We're going to brake at the end of the pit entry, over the curb, over the other curb, get a good run through here, accelerate out of 2nd gear. I spun a little bit there, but not enough to unseat me, and we come across the line. And with that, that is both of my laps for the day. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you've got anything to say. Thanks for watching. See ya.